Hi everyone. So I'm showing off my book t-shirt of the day. Today I bring you The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. Great job, Carrie. Hi. So I am coming to you on a beautiful June 1st day. White Rabbit, all that good stuff. The book of the week, as it were, is the newest Joe Hill, the Fireman. For those of you who are not familiar with Joe Hill, but are familiar with his, spoiler alert, father Stephen King, The Apple Does Not Fall Far from the Tree. He is a very strong writer. He works with suspense and horror and, mystery and all of that good stuff, much like his father does. This is, I think, his 5th novel. He had previously done Horns, Heart-Shaped Box, which is my favorite. That was my introduction to Joe Hill, and it's been a love affair ever since, even though he doesn't know. Hi. Now you know. So basically, I've just gotten started on it. It's a good read. There's already an antagonist, as far as I know, and that's just in book 1. What are the other books? So he's written Heart-Shaped Box. I'm all discombobulated today, so my apologies. He's written Heart-Shaped Box. He's written Horns. He's written Nosferatu. And then he's written also a graphic novel series called Lock and Key. Excellent, excellent series. If you're a fan of... Everyone settle down. If you're a fan of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman series, and you should be because it's brilliant, then you'll definitely enjoy Lock and Key. It's an original story. There's really, in my opinion, there's nothing to compare it to. It really stands on its own. It's fully an original. I have always enjoyed everything that Stephen King has written. And as I said, the apple does not fall far from the tree, but Joe Hill is an excellent writer all on his own. I'm excited to see the day where they work on a novel together. I think that would be supreme. So, having said all of that, and also having looked at current events being what they are, the business with Harambe the Gorilla, being murdered by zookeepers. One thing that it actually had me thinking about is how you read books and you see, someone who's so very clearly the villain, and then someone who's, the underdog or the good person. And as the story develops, little flaws start coming out and more details start coming out. You start getting more of a backstory of, well, how did it get to this point? From past stories of, people, kids going over a barrier into zoos and, meeting an animal that they really shouldn't be meeting. They shouldn't be there in the first place, nor should the animal. I'm very against zoos. I'm very against any kind of animal attraction where people are making money off a creature's life. But where I'm going with this, and I'm kind of discombobulated today. I'm still getting acclimated to the new dosage on my medication. It's been doing a number on my depression. It's been doing a number on just clarity or lack thereof. So if I babble a bit, my apologies. Moving on though, and getting back to the point of what I was saying is, we, myself included, are so quick to jump on a story. And, where we stand. Do we stand on this side? Do we stand on the opposite side? And how much information do we have to go on? So, again, where I'm going with this is with where it comes to this kid going into the enclosed environment of an animal. A lot of us, myself included, kind of jumped on the bandwagon of the mother. Where was the mother? Where were the parents? Where were the guardians? Who was stopping this kid from getting that far? And again, like any story, it's, you get one chapter, you get maybe a page or two, and your mind has already, snapped your decision about the kind of person that is, and you don't have the full story. You've got like another 600 pages before you really get into the thick of it and you start seeing, okay, well, I'm not feeling this way as I was in the very beginning of the story. So I learned a lesson, and I learned it from a very good friend of mine, Natalie Cortez. She had made a statement on one of my Facebook posts yesterday. She goes, something along the lines of, because I was kind of jumping on, I was harping on the mother, and she goes, you can't be saying this, you don't really understand it. And my initial response was respectfully noted, and I moved on. And then a new post came up that she had posted, a blog from this woman, Kimberly Harrington, and I found it on medium.com, and then I had kind of expanded, I had extrapolated the point from there. And I am changing my stance. I'm changing my mind on how I felt about this gorilla story. I'm still very much opposed to zoos and circuses and anything, SeaWorld, any place that makes their money off another creature's life. I'm always going to be against that. I don't think I could ever change my mind on that, because you've seen so many of these stories where these animals, they finally do lash out. They, they get tired of their treatment and they react as anyone would. But I am changing my stance, and I actually do agree that, you can't immediately go on the attack of the mother because you don't know all the information. You don't have all of the details. So, this is not me getting on a soapbox. This is me just saying, be aware of what you're saying. Think before you speak. Get more information before you make a snap decision on who that person is or what they do. And it was weird because it was like, I really did think about this in the capacity of, I do the same thing when I read a book. Like, you read 2 or 3 pages of a book, magazine article, anything, and you've already made a decision about how all of this works. And then you get more information, and the story unravels a little bit more, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I was wrong. So I think people need to be more aware when you read a story, whether it's fiction, non-fiction, editorial. Think of everything. I'm only like maybe about 100 pages into this. Where am I at with this? Not even 100 pages into it. I love it. There's already an antagonist in my mind. But this book is 700 plus pages. This is like, I'm not even a quarter of the way through. We're looking at like what? Like 749, 750, thereabouts. I'm going to be with this baby for a while. I was pouring at it when I first got my hands on it last week, and I'm very excited because reading Joe Hill's books, he does work in that dynamic of, you think you've got an idea about how this might go. You're still at the beginning here. So there's always been that element, to the excitement of getting a new story and seeing how it kind of plays with your brain and plays with your emotions. And when you can find a book that just absolutely wrecks you, destroys your brain, and you just get all these emotions, by the end of it, you're like, oh my Lord, what a world that was. And I think maybe we need to kind of look at that from a distance and respect where we stand, where it comes to another person's world. You don't have all the details. You need to stay with it and get more information. So, at any rate, that's where I stand with that. I'm going to stop being all preachy because that's not usually my thing. What else? There's new stuff going on with Book Riot. I get the emails from Book Riot, from Out of Print Clothing, all of that. BuzzFeed, they're always great links, and I will be putting up more stuff. As some of you may know, others of you, you're going to be getting a news flash now. My plan is to leave New York City within the next year, within the next 12 months. There's no concrete date. There's a lot of work that I still need to get done. I'm currently unemployed. I'm trying to find money wherever I can get it. But the plan is to kind of get rid of a lot of my crap, and lighten my load, as it were. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I am actually going to be selling some of my books. I have a wide variety of books. The stuff that is hardback first edition, I'm probably not going to get rid of, but I do have some paperbacks and some hardbacks. The hardback first editions that I'm not planning on getting rid of are the Neil Gaiman ones, because they're autographed by Neil Gaiman. He autographed them right in front of me, and I basically flatlined in my head. Like, he talked to me, like one-on-one, like I'm talking to you. I had no idea what this man said to me. He could have told me his life history. I had no clue, because the only thing going on in my head when Neil Gaiman is talking to me is, holy shit, Neil Gaiman is talking to me. You stay out of this. Just settle down. So yeah, he was talking to me. I had no idea what he was saying. Wish I did. I wish I knew someone who could have videotaped it so I could play it back. I'm like, oh, yeah, I could totally get on board with that. I had no clue what this man said to me. I just know that I was smiling a lot. I didn't stop smiling for maybe about a week or two after. It was weird. It was like I had no central nervous system. It just gone. Brain out the door. Just walked on an autopilot for 2 weeks. I'm going to have Alzheimer's. I'm going to remember that day. Not what he said. Who knows? But the fact that we were face to face, and it was him and it was me, and there was random strangers, and I don't even know what's going on out there. There could have been free money being given out outside. I don't care. So at any rate, pulling the reins back to my original point, I am going to be selling some hardback books. I have some Carrie Fishers. I got some Julia Camerons, some all kinds of stuff. Some paperbacks, some Michael Connolly books, which again, a lot of these books I really don't want to part with, but purely for the fact of we are in a digital age. A lot of it I probably could get on a Kindle or a tablet or whatever, or just repurchase when I get to Oregon and I can find a nice independent bookstore there. So, and if I hadn't mentioned it before, it is Oregon. I'm looking at North Bend or Coos Bay, someplace much calmer, much quieter, and more relaxed, and much more affordable. Because, for those of you who've been living under a rock, New York City is fucking expensive. It's all hell, man. That is one expensive city. Holy shit. I'm scraping by. I don't make very much money as it is. The money that I do make, it's basically just to get myself through the next month. And I'm just I'm over the struggle. I have a lot of struggles in my life. And if I can do something proactively to lessen the struggles that I have, then that's my goal. What else? What else? So yeah, I'm going to be selling some of my books. For any of you who might be interested in getting new books, I'm going to be selling them on the cheap because basically it's basically coming from one bibliophile to another. So I'll be selling the books on the cheap. The only thing that I ask is that you pay for shipping and handling and all that good stuff. Um, I'm going to be coming out with a list of the books that I'll be selling. So once that's been put together, I'm going to put that up on the blog. If there's something that you see that you want, let me know, and we'll work together. So yeah. What else? What else? After I finish The Fireman by Joe Hill, I'm likely going to be moving on to Ed Hamilton's stories about the Chelsea Hotel. I love hearing about the Chelsea Hotel. I love New York City history. A lot of it is always fascinating, especially when it comes to the Chelsea Hotel, because it is famed for the writers who lived there, the stories that were created in that one hotel. And there's so many different stories from so many different worlds, and they were all born out of the Chelsea Hotel. Sid Vicious, good Lord, Dylan Thomas, Bob Dylan, just the list goes on and on. So there's that. There's Ed Hamilton. Learning more about Asperger's. There's a book called Asper Tools. I'm going to be putting it up on my Goodreads feed. For those of you who are a part of Goodreads, you can find me on Goodreads. I've got my Where Read friends, not just on my Wix page, but also on my WordPress blog. I'm under my Where Read friends on Instagram, and I'm trying, but I'm very new to creating a blog, so it may seem like I'm in various different directions over time. I'll hopefully, knock on wood, be able to kind of hone it and get better at working on this blog. So I'm going on 18 minutes. I don't know how much I've covered. I'm going to shut up very soon, hopefully under the 20-minute mark, because my ADD is raging. And I shall leave it in your hands. If there's a book that you are reading that you want to share, by all means, do go ahead. I recently found out, and by recently I mean within the last hour, found out that one of my newly favorite authors, Jenny Lawson, has, she knows I exist in the space of nothingness. Not quite, that was extreme. She has followed me on Twitter. I followed her on Twitter first because when I read a book, I want to know this author. If I really love the book and I really care about it, I want to just be in that author's world. Her blog, the bloggess, she's hilarious. So I have a huge amount of admiration for her. She deals with the same kind of issues that I deal with, where it's anxiety, it's a lot of different anxiety triggers. My anxiety is actually another one of the reasons why I am going to be leaving New York City. One of my anxieties is kind of being stuck within, and I don't know what the official medical term of it is, but just not even so much claustrophobia, although that is an element of it, but when there's so many people around me and it's just so congested and there's people walking behind me and I can't control my environment, it sends my anxiety to a very high level. I have not gone into Target in 2 years at the very least. I don't really go to malls. I live in New York City. I live in Brooklyn, and I live in one of the quieter boroughs of Brooklyn. But I go into Manhattan for work more often than not. And even when I was working in downtown Brooklyn, it's a very congested area. There's people everywhere. This is not a perfectly synchronized world the way I would like it to be. And so there's a lot of people who will walk by me, when they're just doing their own thing. And in retrospect, I realized that, but at the time, it's like, you need to get the fuck off me. Otherwise, I'm very worried that I'll end up getting myself in legal trouble. I'll end up hitting someone because they're getting too close to me. And they don't realize it because we don't know each other from Adam or Eve or Steve or Frank or whoever. Shut up, Carrie. So there's been that trigger. There's being on the F train going into the city in the morning, being on the F train or the N train on the way home at night, and the train can be packed, just depending on the time of day that I'm on a train headed to wherever, to my next destination. Those trains can be very, very packed. And when they get packed the way they do, I'm usually up against a wall or up against the door or something, and I have my book and I have my music, but there's some kind of thing in my head that's saying, I need to get away from these people. I have spent like the last 2+ years, 3 years now, where on my weekends I don't want to go out anywhere. I don't want to, go to a mall. I can't go to movies the way other people can go to movies because there's too many people. I can't really go to the like I said, to the Target. I can't go to Trader Joe's on the weekends because it gets so packed and there's so many people, and my irritation goes from 0 to Hulk smash in a snap. So all the things that I really love about New York City, the attractions where it comes to like Central Park, not Central Park Zoo, let's clarify, but Central Park, Times Square, I used to love, all of this stuff, but it's become such a tourist trap, and there's so many people with their fucking phones. Get your head off your phone and be present. But tourists who kind of take up the entire sidewalk, people who are like knocking into you and stuff like that. I can't enjoy it the way I used to. As I've gotten older, these anxieties have become extrapolated from where they began. They have grown. They've progressed to something that's become harder to deal with. So my anxiety with that, my anxiety with just struggling on a day-to-day basis, has become to the point where I'm not enjoying this city the way I would like to, the way that I used to. And I really have not been able to, I'm trying not to get emotional. I haven't been able to enjoy New York City the way I used to. Bottom line. I need to have a quiet environment like I do now. The reason why it's quiet now is because it's like 2-3 o'clock on a Wednesday, so everyone else is at work. I'm allowed to have this time to, relax. I'm at my best now. But when other people are around, and I can hear stomping from the guys downstairs, or I can hear what's going on next door, then, it's a bit much for me to take. So I want to live in a place that, I can afford to live in. It's not a struggle to live there. And where it doesn't feel so crowded. So, having said that, I went way beyond the time I was expecting to. having said that, it's going on 25 minutes now. I'm going to shut up and wish you all the very best. By all means, please do share your information with me. I love to meet new people from distance online. Tell me what kind of books you like, what book you're reading now, what book you want to read. Um, if you're reading a Fireman, I'd love to hear your take on it. So, having said all of that, I will say goodbye. I will wish you all the best, and we will catch up next week. See if I'm still reading The Fireman, or if I've been able to finish that book and go on to the next one. So, have a great day, everyone. Happy Hump Day. Happy June. We're already, almost halfway through the year. Take care. Toodles!